Hello everyone. So as with the previous definition of reading a binary integer number and validating whether it is a binary integer number, this time we're going to solve the same definition but using the array concept. That is, I'm going to use the split method of the string object, and then we're going to split it into an array, and then we're going to check each element. So first thing we'll do is, because we are not going to make an assumption that the input is a number and that it is an integer number. So I'm going to actually do the checking that um, if it is not a number, then we will throw an error. And if it is a number, then yes, we are going to go ahead and do the validation here. So now what we will require is, because we need to even assure that it is actually an integer number, I'm going to convert the number into an integer number. And so I'll go ahead and check next, is that the original number and its integer values are same. If yes, then we will do the manipulation. Otherwise, we will again throw a message informing the user that it is not integer. Well, that said, we need not bother about it being a um, say a negative value. So I'm going to convert it into a positive value by just using the math.absolute on say B or C, either one can be used. So once this is done, I know now that the number positive equivalent integer number is there in D, but it is a number and I want to apply the split method. So I'm going to use the toString to convert it into a so I'm going to use the toString. That's the string object method which converts a number into a string value. So that said, E contains my um, string. So now I'm going to use the method and convert. I would need one more variable, say x and y. So in y, I'm going to use E, and I'm going to split it individual character wise. I should not be declaring it because then it becomes a normal variable. This makes it a array variable. So now once I have the string split character wise, next thing I'm going to do is find in the length of y. So length is a property which is available on the string object. It's available on the array. It tells you how many elements are there in the array. So going ahead, I'm going to use in the for loop counter, and till the value is less than n or less than equal to n minus 1, I'm going to increment this for loop, and here is where I'm going to extract one character at a time. And I'm going to apply the same logic of extracting the character and then checking whether um, this okay, where's the array? It is there in y. So I'm going to check whether it is an integer or not. So if almost is similar to the last two definitions that I have been solving, if it is not equal to the character 0, and it is again not equal to the character 1, that means it is a digit character which is neither a binary, a 0, or a binary 1. So at the end of this for loop, I'm going to have something in the counter value. So if counter is equal to 0, that means this condition was never true, which means that, um, okay, so let me finish. So it is a binary number, right? So that is why the counter never got incremented. Otherwise, it is not a binary number. Now you would find a few codes from the earlier videos repeating of the sorts, but well, this is the whole logic. I've used a split string function, and I've converted a string into a array, and then I'm extracting one element at a time. But this is a very long logic, but if you make an assumption that the user is only entering integers and positives and binaries only, then a lot of logic can be reduced. You can just extract it and then count how many binaries are there and compare it with the length of the string. So that can be another possible solution. You can go ahead and try that out. And meanwhile, we can just check for ourselves whether this is working. Okay, so this is a binary number. This is not an integer. So if I put in a negative, it says still a binary number because the negative sign would be removed using this. And yeah, so this is working fine. If I entered, it should say it is not binary. And if I enter wrong inputs, it says there's an error. So code is working fine. The only concept I've tried to introduce here is how do you mix the math object with the string object and use something like an array to do the same thing. So go ahead and try this definition and I'll catch you in the next definition with a new definition.